In the quiet village of Komu, there was a pastor known as Prophet Akpan, who had a growing reputation as a miracle worker. His church, the House of Divine Blessings, stood tall and grand at the edge of the village, and every Sunday, it was filled with villagers hoping for miracles. But Prophet Akpan was no true man of God. Behind his righteous words and holy garments, he was a deceiver, skilled at convincing the desperate and the suffering to part with their hard-earned money in exchange for blessings that never came. Prophet Akpan had a few close friends who helped him carry out his tricks, staging fake miracles and carefully orchestrating his prophecies. His helpers would pretend to be healed, leaping from their chairs, or claim they were cured of ailments by merely touching his hands. As the word spread, people from neighboring villages began flocking to Komu, bringing gifts, money, and even livestock, hoping to witness his miracles or, even better, be blessed by one. One day, a woman named Mama Ezin came to the church in tears. She was an elderly widow, thin and frail, with only a small farm and a few goats to her name. Her son, her last source of comfort, had recently passed away after a long illness. In her grief, she came to Prophet Akpan, clutching what little money she had saved. "Prophet," she pleaded, "I've heard you can raise the dead. Please bring my son back to me. I will give everything I have." The prophet saw her desperation and quickly seized the opportunity. He spoke with a voice full of false compassion, reaching for her hand. "Mama Ezin," he said, "your faith is strong, and it pleases the Lord. But such a miracle will not come easy, it will require a great sacrifice. For the price of 50 million naira, your son will rise again." Mama Ezin, though poor, was blinded by her grief. She gathered everything she owned, even her precious goats, and handed it to the prophet. He told her to go home and prepare, for her son would come back to her at the break of dawn. The next morning, she waited at her son's grave, praying and crying, expecting to see him walk out from the earth. But as the sun rose, her son's resting place remained silent. The people of the village saw her kneeling by the grave, weeping bitterly. Word spread, and soon the whole village knew what had happened. One by one, they realized they had been fooled, just like her. The anger among the villagers grew like a roaring fire. By noon, a crowd gathered at the doors of Prophet Akpan's church, demanding answers. At first, he tried to calm them with his usual holy demeanor, claiming that God works in mysterious ways and that faith is needed. But the villagers were not swayed. Among them was Mama Ezin, who stepped forward and, with a voice filled with grief and fury, asked him why he would deceive a grieving mother. The other villagers joined her, their voices rising in anger, demanding justice for the lies, the deception, and the money he had taken from all of them. They tore through the church and dragged Prophet Akpan out. As he was pulled through the village, he begged for mercy, promising to return all he had taken. But the villagers, filled with rage, ignored his cries. In their fury, they decided to make an example of him. The village elders, after much deliberation, ordered that he should face punishment for his deceit. In a sorrowful but fierce ceremony, Prophet Akpan's hand, the same hand he had used to take money from the desperate and grieving, was cut off as a lesson to all who might try to exploit the weak and broken-hearted. The story of Prophet Akpan spread far and wide, warning others of the price of false prophecy. As for Mama Ezin, though she was never able to see her son again, she found some peace in knowing that the man who had used her grief against her would deceive no one else. And so, in Komu, peace was restored, though the memory of that day remained etched into the hearts of all who witnessed it, a sorrowful tale of how those who walk the path of lies are destined to fall.